Hi again, guys. Back again. So what we've got now, we're doing a restoration on a Peugeot 205, right? I'm sure you've heard of them. Classic things, wicked little cars. I dug into it. The first thing we had to do, right, was a couple of bits for MOT and 3 patches on the front, 3 weld patches in the engine bay. I thought, it's not going to be too bad. It's not going to be too bad. I know rust grows. As soon as you start looking at it, as soon as you start digging into it, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And guess what? That's happened. So on the front end now, I'm at 17 patches I need to make on top of 3. So be careful when you quote for welding jobs, because this can happen to you. And then the customer, in this case, they want it to last 15 years. I mean, you know, as you would. But if they find rust on a spot that you've missed, they're going to be like, well, I just paid you all this money for welding. Why is it still rusty? So be careful when you quote. Anyway, I'm going to show you around this, right? So, taking the wings off to start with. On 205, they're glued on, so that wasn't fun. You see this side, I've had to come from underneath and Stanley knife the glue all the way down here, because obviously if you pull on a new wing, you're going to bend it. So we'll start here, look. So underneath, the jacking point is completely gone. Nothing left of it. Okay, going up. See that? I treat that, but it's not actually gone. That's there on the chassis rail, so that needs fixing. I've cleaned that, that's not too bad. Front bit here, nothing left of it. And because we've got the wing off, we've got all this nice access to find all the other bits of rust that we wouldn't have normally found. So there's nothing to it. This one, see, right in the headlight surround here. I mean, I don't know how much to do with that. It's gone. It's a swine to make. So we'll start with the bits I've cut out. Here, this is where the wing bolts to, 2 10mm bolts that go in there. They disintegrated. So I've cut that one out, cut that one out. Big hole in there. So I've cut all that out. I've got my panels made for this, but you see there's so little of the actual car left. That bit's good. That little bit there, that was fine. But then I've got to do that one. The front radiator mount wasn't there at all. I took it off like, well, I guess I'm going to have to make something to go with that as well. Okay, that's the first bit. It's not even the hard one. This one's the hard one, right? I thought that is going to be an absolute swine. Once, twice, and there. If you tap it hard enough, it's gone. I'm going to have to do that from inside the actual turret up here, because you see this panel overlaps it and it's gone behind the panel. So I'm going to have to reduce the size of my head somewhat, fit it in there and try and weld from inside out. It's going to be horrible. Okay, onto the driver's side. So same thing, that's all gone across there. This big ass patch that I cut out is the first patch I did. So we've got that all made up. And then onto the inside, in our engine bay, obviously you can see a nice big hole there. Knew about that one. That was one of the original ones I knew about. I didn't think it was going to be that bad because I could do it from underneath. But it does travel around the corner somewhat. That's going to be a fair sized patch. Oh, another big hole down there. See that one down there? I mean, they're not too bad, because obviously I can do them from the wheel arch. Have a look. See, I don't know why they got a bracing reinforcement bar on the driver's side, but not on the passenger side. Okay, so this actually survived. It's only one little hole that went there, so I might leave that there. But then the trouble is, the underseal holds it all together. The underseal's brilliant on this, and you don't notice the rust coming in underneath it. So underneath, that's the patch we saw earlier. That's the one that I showed you the light through. That's going to need another big patch. That's gone, so I need to do that as well. And like, the customer wants a perfect restoration job. So what I do, I flush weld it. I don't just patch over the top. So another one here, this. I mean, I think that zip tie was all holding the radiator on. But see, just nothing to it. I'm going to have to rebuild all of this shape, right? So, what I've done, I've started getting my patches together over here. This patch here was the driver's side wing mount. You see it come off there. The top bit disintegrated. I think it might have had some previous welding before. I don't know. It looks pretty terrible, whatever happened to it. So that come out from there. We say they use 0.8mm steel and 0.6 on this, standard Peugeot. This is what I've made to replace it. I've used 2mm plate steel here. See the thickness on that? Yeah, was not easy to bend, but they asked me 15 years. So flush welding means to cut all the rust out. So I haven't quite finished up here, I've got more to do up here. And then this will fit in something like that. Ooh, left hand's a fail. There you go, so it fits in something like that. That's going to be welded into place there. You see I've got drilled my wing mounts in the right place. That's solid. I painted that with some decent primer and some silver just to stop it going rusty. Obviously, once I've bent it and once I've made it, I had to heat it to bend, see? But the other patch I've made is for in there. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to fit it now, but that needs a lick of primer go in, but I'm using heavy metal to go in there to replace it. But like, I might be a little bit down the rabbit hole now. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. Not looking forward to that in the slightest. But see the mice have made good use behind the wing there. God knows how they got in there. We'll clean that mouse nest up before we go. So, yeah. There's not really a lot of structure left in this at the moment. So I'm going to need to rebuild it, the absolute living daylights out of it, but I need a decision from them first. They need to tell me exactly how they want it. So this is part 1, presuming I'm going to be doing a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 through 42, however many it takes to get it fixed. I love the idea of keeping old cars on the road. It's brilliant, you know, and I'm a welder, so it's kind of what I do, but yeah, there's a lot of work here. And patches like that, look, surface rust. Don't know if you can see that, but I've given it a good clout with my picking hammer and it doesn't go through, so that's fine. What we can do, we'll wire brush that off, we'll acid treat it, and we'll paint it. Same with all these other little things here, they're fine. Don't know, I'm still debating whether to just take the engine out to make it easier, but I just make more work for myself and the customer. We'll see. Anyway, this is part 1. Wish us luck. We'll be in a world of smoke and fire.